so we can go back. I'm gonna start recording our sessions just so we can go back and review them. Alright, so starting with the pre-market analysis. What do we see so far? So yesterday we were looking for a hourly or 4-hour close above, right? Remember how we were saying on ES I was looking for a close above here, looking for this previous week high. However, here on the 1 hour, we did get above it. Notice how we were talking about if NQ takes out that previous high, ES heads higher. So we did head higher here, but we tapped into this inverse fair value gap right there. Right there. At the same time, NQ is still respecting this 4-hour BPR. If we zoom in here, that was that SMT we were looking at. I said if we want to see higher, we need to take out that SMT. If you remember that. We eventually did. So liquidity gets taken there. Higher time frame PE rate gets tapped into there. So what am I looking for now? So on NQ, I'm going to be watching NQ, and I'm specifically going to be watching this 4-hour order block. This will determine whether we are biased, it's bullish or bearish. If we respect it, if we continue to respect it like we are doing now, right there, then our bias, obviously, we're going to be looking for a sweep or for this 4-hour BPR to be disrespected. However, if we start to see signs of lower prices, I expect a return back into this new week opening gap, which is this yellow rectangle right there. And if we zoom in to the 15-minute, that is a breaker. This is a breaker block right here. So on both indices, matter of fact, let's reset our charts here. So we're very, very zoomed in here. As we can see, tapped into that hourly inverse, came down, intermediate term high, rebalancing this high. So we can expect a short-term high here, coming down below this breaker. So this is a breaker here on both indices. And we have everything marked out here. That's that 4-hour order block, and that is this low right here. So on both indices, we have this breaker block, low, high. We need to come down below it, and I would like to see displacement past this new week opening gap if we disrespect this 4-hour order block. So on my scope, on my agenda today, I'm going to be mainly watching this 4-hour order block. It looks like we're going to open right at it. So depending on how our news release is, we have one coming up at 10 in about 30 minutes. That one will most likely be the determining factor depending on where we end up after about 5 to 10 minutes after the news release. So that is what we're looking at so far. So just to recap, it's going to be a simple recap. 4-hour order block determines our bias. Above the 4, if we respect it, we'd like to target higher prices, most likely this high time frame fair value gap BPR. And for ES, we want to see a close above the hourly fair value gap. Below this 4-hour order block, we look to start to target this breaker block formation, looking for an entry. Start to target the new week opening gap, which is that yellow box right there. Yeah, it looks like we're coming into open here in about a minute, 30 seconds. Let's see. Also, let's peep the dollar really quickly. Okay. So, looks like the dollar is drawing to our high here on the daily. So, looks like buy side liquidity is our draw on liquidity. So, what does that mean for the indices? That means lower prices, right? Do you find that MES analysis would be the same as ES analysis? Yes, yes. So there would be times where you get like a 1 to 2 tick difference in the spread. So like maybe ES took a high while MES didn't, and that would be like the only con I can find for MES and ES, but besides that, everything else is the same. All you're doing is minimizing or basically, using the smaller contracts to your potential to start to take partials. Alrighty. So coming into open here, we are open. We might chop around like yeah, we might chop around until that news release. So don't expect too much out of price right now. So if it stays true to this, we have a long-term high, intermediate term high, and this right here should technically be our short-term high. So let's see how this holds right there. Same here on NQ. Wow. Long-term high, intermediate term high. This high swept liquidity. So let's see how that holds if it's the short-term high. And what I mean by swept liquidity is right there. Same here on ES. However, we are coming off of that 4-hour order block. So higher prices should be expected. It's what we do once we get back into this BPR that matters. If we do end up getting there. Let's go on the dollar here. So our buy side liquidity target is here. NQ coming back inside that 4-hour BPR. Swept this high. Just wanted to see how that played out. Right there. That is SMT as well. Let's see how it reacts here. That is bearish SMT. So NQ took its 6 a.m. high. ES has not. Right there. For ES, it would be right there. Tapped into a bearish order block. And I'm just chilling on the 15-minute right now. Until the news release. Totally forgot to update our intraday chat. So I'm actually gonna do that right now. So if you see me moving my chart a lot, I'm just updating the channel. Just to see the levels we're looking at.
Yo, kids.
What's up, bro?
Oh, good. In my charts, I don't know if it was in yours as well. Maybe we have like different charts. We just reacted like really negatively on a 50-minute order block and a 1 hour order block. Like both reclaimed. But like we made a new high, so like we swept that high. But like on the 50-minute.
Yeah, it's right. It's this one, right? With SMT?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I think that's a 50-minute order block, is it, right?
Mm-hmm. This one right here.
Yeah.
SMT. Yep. Yeah, bro. Have the same thing. Let's go.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah, let's see how we react off of that going into the news release. Alright, so like I said in the intraday chat, SMT isn't confirmed until the candle closes. So if the candle closes with SMT, then it is confirmed, but so far we have about 3 minutes left. So until we get a candle closure, then we can expect SMT. There you go. So it took that high, same as NQ. No SMT yet. That is also a breaker block right there. Definitely note that on both indices. We have this one here on ES. This one here on NQ. Big expansion. I'm waiting for retracement here since we're in the 1 to 1.5 into a PD array. I do like this breaker we got going on here. See what NQ's looking like. If we get this candle closure here in 20 seconds, I'm going to be looking for a retracement back into this breaker fair value gap here. It's also on the 5-minute. I have this fair value gap breaker, little unicorn. I'll be trying it out quarter risk. So typically I'd be going 10 contracts or 1 mini. I'm going 2 contracts here. So just to give you perspective of my risk on this trade. Reason for the risk on the trade is the news driver in about 12 minutes. I do like this trade because 1 to 1.5 breaker fair value gap. I also saw that 2022 model. Was nice. Damn, no retracement, huh? Let's see if the market wants to give us an opportunity here. Alright, little limit order right there. Be going stop there. Let me note this in our intraday chat real quick. So, unicorn entry. Let's see if we're provided with the So price did tap into a BISI there. So we might not get that. Typically what it does is it just seeks the first BISI that it finds, or the first imbalance, and it'll just keep running higher. Reason for entry there is because I want it to line up with our breaker. Yep, that's exactly what it did. And you can expect it to come up to the 2 to the 2.5 here. We got almost 5 minutes until news release. NQ's breaker looks like it's right here. We have 2 more obvious breakers on NQ. On ES, it's a bit more shallow. We're about to get filled here. There it is. Right into our breaker to the tick. So let me update the alpha chat. And Q also tapped into its breaker. Failed unicorn. So we are in entry during a news release, but more than likely what the news release is going to do is speed up our fill. So first TP is like we mentioned before, we're going to do it at 5 points or the low hanging fruit. So in this scenario, we're going to do 5 points. Actually, we'll do low hanging fruit here, which is going to be the high. Let's see where 5 points is at. We'll just do 5 points just to. And then next TP will be at the second standard deviation, 11 points. Right there. So partials have been set. And now we wait. We have 1 minute. Reason for partials there, right here versus the high, is because this is a rejection block. Remember, a rejection block is a high or a low that sweeps liquidity with a wick, a significant wick. So on the 5 minute, it's right there. We're going to be taking our first posture there. If it reaches into there. Anybody in? Anybody in the play? Are we all just watching? For these type of plays, you can paper trade them by any means. Like, oh yeah, 100%. I feel good about it too. This is like in the middle of a news driver though, so look at that. First partial taken, straight to first partial. Let me screenshot that right there. And this should reach our second partial instantly. First partial. There we go. And second partial right there. Perfect. Look at that, guys. That is a unicorn play if I've ever seen one. So let's screenshot that right there. Second partial, let's go. GG's. So now that we've tapped into the 2 to 2.5 here, I'm expecting NQ to reach its, remember this fair value gap BPR on the higher time frame? I'm expecting it to reach that right there. Beautiful play. Break even? Yeah, you could have moved it. Oh, definitely. Yeah, I would have moved it to break even there. But I mean, when you see a big move like that, it's less likely to reach into there. I'm gonna be sending that in the alpha chat, in general chat. Oh, actually, hold up. Let's go, boys. I sent it in chat. That is the play of the day, right there. So we had our standard deviations, 1 to 1.5, right there. We had our model setup. We had a breaker here, liquidity swept, breaker structure with displacement, entry. Look at that, right on the tick on that breaker. Entry, 1 tick into the fair value gap. Ultimately targeting 5 points as our first partial. Second partial was 11.25. So remember what we said in our analysis yesterday, we were targeting previous week high. And what did we want to see for that to happen? We wanted to see one of these higher time frames, PD arrays, be disrespected. So now if we go on the 1 hour, notice how overnight we were respecting this hourly SIBI. So now this becomes an inverse because we have now closed above it. So if we were to return back into this inverse, we can expect this hourly fair value gap to hold, and we also have an order block within it. This will most likely be a breakaway gap though on the higher time frame. For now, let's just tape read. We've caught our nice move, so now we're just gonna tape read. I'm gonna get rid of executions here just so we don't have these big arrows in the way. God damn. I was not paying attention to the dollar there. But this is very, very good confluence if you're going long, and if you see this candle like that, it's very good confluence. So now let's take this BISI, and we can expect a retracement into this BISI now. And look at NQ here. What did we just do? We just tapped into this. Not only have we tapped into our 3.5 to 4 standard deviation, and look at, is that to the tick right there? That is almost to the tick. That's crazy. So we expected this right here, this expansion higher, up until this BPR SIBI. So now, if I was gonna take another trade, or if I haven't taken another trade yet, I'd be watching NQ here, and ES has not tapped into a high time frame PD array. There's no correlation yet. So what I would be doing is waiting to see what we do at the back at inside of this SIBI. Or I would be looking for a change in the state of delivery at this point, since we tapped into NQ's higher time frame PD array right here. Which if we go to NQ here, this is a 4-hour SIBI and a 4-hour BPR. Watch the reaction here on NQ. So we're getting that retracement on the 1 to 1.5 here on this manipulation leg lower. So in this scenario, I'd be watching this fair value gap, not taking a trade off of it, but this is going to be the determining factor of if we head higher here on the indices. And we can set a little mental entry, like 1 tick inside, right there. That's going to be our mental entry, mental stop below the imbalance candle. And we can just set a TP at, let's see, 2 to 2.5. So a little mental tape read entry right there. See how price reacts to that BISI there. I would not be confident, if I was live trading this, I would not be confident in this trade because of NQ's delivery to its higher time frame PD array. Bearish PD array, let me add that in there. So what can we expect in here on the dollar? Let's see what the dollar's doing. We did sweep liquidity. If we take out this wick low, I'd be expecting a tap into this BISI here, 4-hour. But since we did sweep liquidity, typically the dollar just, after liquidity sweep, it retraces pretty heavily. So let's see how it reacts here. So that would be our entry there. Mental entry right there off of that BISI. So if I was taking this trade, first TP at 5 points, which would be right here. Second TP at the 2. Let's see how this play does. And why did I take my standard deviations here? Why did I place my standard deviation on this leg? Well, because we had a retracement into a PD array, also a higher time frame PD array. We retraced into this hourly fair value gap. But this candle here was manipulation for this leg here. So we take this manipulation leg before the distribution, draw it out in time, and that'll give you your standard deviation projections. NQ, we are inside this BISI now. Tiny, tiny little BISI right there. So we're about to reach our first partial here, 5 points. Also keep in mind that 1 to 1.5 deviation. Here, let's make these like that. Right there. Let's put a little light bulb. 4-hour 1 to 1.5. Was that 5 points right there? There you go. First partial reached, 5 points. There you go. So let's put a little check mark right there. Oops, sorry, right here. That is our first partial. Second partial at the second standard deviation. Right there. We have not yet tapped into that. So our stop loss down here, personally, I would move it. I would take this fair value gap. I would take the 50% right there. And what I would do is I'd put it 1 tick below. Right there. So we moved our stop up, decrease risk. And now second partial would be at, or full position close would be at this second standard deviation, which I believe this play is up 9 points so far. And this would also be another 11.25 play. So that's 2 plays back to back that are about to be 11 points and 1 tick. There you go. Heading up to our second standard deviation. Let's see if we get full position close there. NQ completely disregarding the high time frame PD array. Looks like it wants to draw to that previous week high like we noted in our analysis. Let's see if ES wants to do the same here. And look how conveniently placed the 3.5 to the 4 is right at that previous week high. So we're still looking for that movement into our TP there. At this point, if I was in the trade live, I'd move my stops to break even right there. Stops at break even. Risk-free trade. There you go. We got filled there. Second partial. That's another 11 points in one tick. And if you have probably another runner, I'd probably just leave it to previous week high. Assuming you were going in with two contracts, you would take one here and one here. If you were going in with more, you would take one there. I'd leave a runner to previous week high. In mind our reversal area here. So we could get a short-term retracement, most likely back into that hourly BISI that we were marked out there and we're marking out. I'm actually going to note this in our intraday chat, our mental entry, just for future journaling references, because that was a really good play. Very nice. Our analysis was really, really good. I was expecting this Tuesday high of week so far. Very nice. I will be ending the recording short here in about 9 minutes at 10:30, just so we don't have another very long video, and so you guys can really study these plays and how I looked at them and why I took them. Very nice expansion here. And where is our draw on liquidity? Where do we assume the draw is? My 2 days here with the group without a trade. I'm enjoying tape reading. Price no motion. See how price plays out. Thank you, bro. Thank you so much. Previous week high. Perfect. Thank you, Bobby. Yeah. So like I said before, I do want to provide as much education as possible, especially for you guys. You guys are in here. I want to make it worth your time. So although we're not taking trades, we're still tape reading, and we do want to see how price action plays out. Exactly, previous week high. That is our draw. So what can we expect here on NQ as well, right? We can expect previous week high negating these higher time frame PD arrays, because we did get a reaction there, but we ultimately respected this BISI. And if I draw this, I do want to see this. It's not as accurate as on NQ than it is on ES. ES is a little bit more precise today. Let's go, bro. First winning trade. Thank you so much. Proud of you, bro. Proud of you. Let's go. Yeah, we're all eating, dude. We're all eating today. Especially, everything starts the day before, guys. If you have a good analysis the day before, like we did yesterday, going into today's price action, you'll know what to expect. 100%. So prices slowed down here. We're currently just, I guess you can say, chopping inside of this 2 to 2.5 area. More than likely, what I'd like to see for an expansion to previous week high is if you take, and this is just a little tip by the way, if you take the 2.5 here and you go on the 5 minute, and you go on the 5 minute, what you want to see is a close above the 2.5 on the 5 minute, and the chances of it heading to the 3.5 to 4 increase. Oh, thank you so much, 8C. Yeah, bro. No, like 100%. You've been killing it recently, bro. Like, don't think I haven't seen that. You've been getting hella gains. But I'm happy you're here, brother. I do feel like um a lot of the OGs, you were one of the OGs, Reese. I mean, you still are. Not saying you're not, but a lot of the OGs, I feel like I wasn't putting in the work back when I started, but you know, I announced it too. I said I gotta put in the work now. Gotta start focusing more on you guys. Happy you're back, brother. So it looks like we are getting a reaction here off of the 2 to 2.5 right there. And let me just get rid of all this nonsense on my chart just so we could clean it up a little bit. Actually, I'm gonna bring back that. Looks like some of the members are struggling today. I think we gotta put him on that. We gotta put him on. Tell him to join up. Yeah. I'm mainly watching NQ here. I'd like to see our hourly displacement. Like these hourly candles are great. Hourly displacement targeting this previous week high. Looking good so far. So for NQ, let's mark this out so far. And how can we use, okay, really quickly, before I end the stream here, not the stream, but the recording, I do want to give a little tip on how to use NQ to take trades on ES. So pay attention. So this all has to do with time. So pay attention to my cursor and what time it's at, and this will provide you entry on NQ. So NQ, so you guys remember last week on Friday how we had a move lower, I believe it was on Powell, and I wanted to see NQ and ES both tap into that same fair value gap. I don't know if you guys were here, but there was a fair value gap that I wanted to see get tapped into, and I didn't take the trade. Anyways, play ended up going and running 30 points without me. I didn't take it. Why? Because this is what I want to see. I want to see NQ and ES correlate. And what do I mean by that? So ES has manipulation lower. You take the liquidity sweep, blah, blah, blah. We all know that. But once we tap into the 1 to 1.5, I want to see a reaction on both indices as we did here from 945 to 954. What happened on NQ? So 945, 954, NQ taps into that breaker to the tick right there, which is this one right here. NQ taps into that breaker. So what can we assume at 954 ES is going to do? ES is going to do the same, right? Breaker, fair value gap. That was our entry right there this morning. And we had a news release, price runs up. That was obviously that was a given. Okay, so that was one trade using NQ. How can we use NQ here? Okay, so we had ES, we took this manipulation leg lower here, 1 to 1.5. We marked out our imbalance here. We had entry here. And how do we use this here? We look for an imbalance on NQ, and we look for NQ to tap into it as well. So at 10:09 here on NQ, price tapped into it. ES didn't tap into it on 10:09, but we still did get that down close candle, eventually tapping into it on 10:12. That is SMT there, very, very short term. Let's go on the 1 minute. So if we take 10:10 low to this 10:13, I believe, or 10:12, NQ is making higher highs. If we take those same candles here, ES is making lower lows. So we have very, very like micro SMT, I guess you can say, with a tap into a fair value gap, ultimately heading higher. And like we said before, where is our draw on liquidity? Previous week high. Right there. And NQ, I'm also looking for it to start disrespecting these 4-hour candles. Look at that. And I mean, it looks like our 5-minute candle, I'm looking for it to close here above the 2 to 2.5, which will increase the chances of it heading to our previous week high. I will be ending the stream here since we... Actually, I might as well just end it once we take previous week high. It's already there. So at 10:35, we're going to be paying attention to the 5-minute candle, and we're going to be looking for if it closed above the 2 to 2.5 here. Reaching that 3.5 and our draw on liquidity here, guys, but everything was very, very accurate from our analysis to our entries, exits, tape reading. Today, I would consider a very, very successful day. Really quickly going into tomorrow. Tomorrow we're gonna paper trade. We're gonna tape read. We do have NFP this week. So like I said before in yesterday's stream, NFP today was high probability. Tomorrow, not so much. Thursday is a no trade day. I will not be trading on Thursday. Friday, we will trade the AM session. So that's typically how it goes for NFP. Just a little heads up. But slowly inching closer to our draw. I'm going to be ending the recording here.